One of the most talked about shows going on right now, but is it as good and scary as people make it out to be? Let's take a crack at it here on...
Be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the Melee Mob to see all our movie news, reviews, and so much more.
Hello everyone and welcome to Not Movies in a Nutshell, where we don't talk about movies in a quick way so you cannot get on with your day. I am your host, Detective Artemis, and obviously, I'm not going to be talking about a movie. Yeah. You saw, that's why you clicked here. Instead, I'm going to be reviewing and recapping The Haunting of Hill House. In this video, we will be talking about spoilers, like mad spoilers, like up the wazoo. So if you haven't seen The Haunting of Hill House yet, hit that watch it button on this video, go in and watch the show, and then come back in and join the discussion. Go! Or if you care about spoilers, sit back and let's talk. The Haunting of Hill House, not to be confused with The House on Haunted Hill, Hell House, or the plot of Scary Movie 2, even though that was based on the novel that this is based on. And there were two adaptations in the 60s and in the 90s with Liam Neeson. This show has taken liberties from the novel, like Luke, Theo, and Nell not even being related, and Steve and Shirley being created just for the purpose of the show. So instead we're just going to focus on the show itself, because every adaptation has its own changes from the source material. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Now, due to the implicit nature of this show, I'm going to do my best to interpret what's going on or what I think happened. I might be wrong or I might be right, but it's always fun to speculate. Was that a rhyme? No? What we learn in this season is that the house is like a parasite. And no, I don't mean like a goddamn bug, but I mean like it feeds off of people's emotions and drives them crazy. That's what the Red Room was, whatever you wanted it to be, a safe haven or your worst nightmare. It made you vulnerable, and that's how the house was able to feed off of you and get its dark energy. It's like a twisted version of the Room of Requirement. Stay Hufflepuff. It drove Olivia crazy to the point where she wanted to kill the twins, Nell and Luke, in a poison tea party. Unfortunately for the Dudley's daughter Abigail, who actually happened to be a real person, I thought she was a ghost the whole time, and then there she is in the sleepover, just like, oh, hey, I didn't mean to cause any trouble. I'm like, oh goddamn, she's real. Yes, unfortunately for her, she actually did die at that tea party. I bet she regretted sleeping over the night. I mean, did you see how fast she was drinking that shit? She was just like... Slow down, Abigail. I can see why you died. You probably didn't leave any tea for anybody else, and that's probably what made the mom even more pissed. It's not enough rat poison. She's just like, how do you like your tea, Abigail? And she's like, bitch, I don't know, I'm 6. In a cup, maybe? We learned that Theo has an empathy sensitivity when she touches other people. She is able to feel what they're feeling and see what they're thinking. It got pretty bad when she was a kid, so her mom gave her these gloves to sort of protect it and keep it more under control. Kind of like Cyclops from X-Men and his stupid glasses. To me, she was probably the most interesting character because she was the most fucked up emotionally than anyone else. She's the middle child, kind of all to herself, no one really gave a shit about her. She has these powers. Because of her powers, she was so emotionally detached from anyone else, so she sort of built this wall around herself to not let anyone in. And by the end of the show, she sort of knocks that wall down, lets her lover in, and then she just takes off her gloves, and it's like she no longer needs them because she is in control of her feelings. And I don't think that she lost her gift because it runs in her family, but it's more symbolizing that she was able to control her feelings now without the gloves, which ultimately means she can go back to playing honka honka. Speaking of closing herself in a wall, we learned that William Hill actually did just that. He literally built a wall in the basement to sort of keep himself away from everybody because he was overwhelmed with fear and guilt. Obviously, he regretted that decision because he kept trying to scratch at the wall until his fingers were all shredded, until it sounded like rats in the walls. Apparently, he saw himself as really small in the real world, so when he died, or woke up, he was much, much taller, thus revealing the identity of that fucking creepy-ass tall ghost. Man, when Luke saw him come into the room when he was hiding under the bed, that shit creeped me out. Because normally you see like, footsteps, walking towards him in the bed. No, this motherfucker was hovering. It's the stuff nightmares are made of. Another creepy-ass ghost is the bent neck lady, who we eventually find out is Nell. She got sucked back into the house and was in the motel that her mom was in before she went crazy too, so I'm sensing a pattern here. And then she kills herself by hanging off the fucking creepy-ass spiral staircase, resulting in a bent neck. But when she died, she was able to go back to key moments in her life and her family's lives. She did this to warn them to not go back into the house, but unfortunately, everyone else saw it as a way of being scared by another fucking ghost. So, that message didn't work, for the most part, until she saves Luke at the end. It's a twin thing. This was probably my favorite episode of the entire series. I think Steven was the worst of all the bunch because not only did he exploit his family's pain and fucking terrible memories for a cash-in for a novel, but he just kept arguing that his family was fucking insane and they were crazy and there was no such thing as ghosts. He believed in that so hard that he got a secret vasectomy and didn't even tell his wife, who wanted kids. He was like, no, my genes are fucked up. I should not be able to reproduce because, you know, they're gonna be crazy just like my mom and stuff. So, what a dick! Pun intended. But don't worry, him and his wife eventually reconciled at the end of the show, and she got pregnant. But how? Ghost baby. Michael Langdon #2. Now, Shirley didn't really deal with any actual ghosts except, you know, when the bug came out of her sister's mouth, but she was dealing more with ghosts from her past. She kept seeing this guy that she cheated on her husband with years ago. She eventually came clean to him at the end of the show, but what I really liked about this is that this show is not exactly only limited to dead ghosts, you know, like ghosts, but more of like emotional ghosts or ghosts from your past and stuff like that. So it really gave the show a little more layer and depth to me. That was pretty cool because it wasn't a ghost. I was like, who is that guy? Luke was probably the most misunderstood character and probably the most saddest. He was on drugs because he's seen all this crazy shit and no one, including his family, didn't believe him. So he's like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna shoot myself up because remembering all this stuff is too painful. Even when he got clean for like 90 days, his family still didn't believe him. They're like, oh, he relapsed again, the car is gone, and I'm just gonna assume the worst. And yeah, I get that's how it is when you deal with addicts, but if only they knew he was actually doing good. He even tried to save that one girl and then she ended up taking the money and bailing on him, but he was like, fuck. Even that, he still didn't do it. So, man, good job for Luke. I think he had the biggest arc in the show. I also like that how him and Nell had this sort of like twin telepathy towards each other. I guess it happens with twins because you can feel what they feel and stuff. But in terms of the show, it was pretty effective because at the end of one episode, you find out that Nell didn't kill herself. She was murdered because he's like, my neck. No, she didn't kill herself. So that was pretty rad. Now, the dad probably had the hardest because he had all these secrets he was keeping away from his family for years. He wanted to maintain the image of their mom in a positive light and not see her as this sort of mentally broken child murderer. The Dudleys made him promises after Abigail died, and then the dad saw, you know, Olivia dead. They were just like, you know what? We won't tell anyone what happened here so long as you keep this house up and not destroy it. So that way they can see their daughter again and whenever they wanted to. So he had to carry that shit for years and that dude went crazy. You can even tell he just kind of like lost it physically as well. I also really liked how much power the house really had on people. It was like the murder house from American Horror Story, that if you die there, your spirit's there forever. Now I wonder which house would win in the fight. Maybe Hill House because it's bigger, but I wouldn't underestimate the murder house. Fucked up people in there. One of the saddest moments of the entire show was when Mr. Dudley took his wife, his dying wife, back to the fucking Hill House just so that she can die there and her spirit can be reunited with Abigail. I don't know what it was about that scene, but it got to me. Just the way it was acted, and I guess because the Dudleys were so innocent and they were actually good people, this was kind of like their happy ending. So, you really can I take a minute? I love that one of the most recurring themes of the show is that the harder you try to protect your kids, the more harm you'll actually do to them. I mean, think about it. The Dudleys, they tried to keep Abigail safe, they even homeschooled and everything, and what happened? She died. Olivia wanted her kids to stay in the house and not go into the real world because, you know, she thought they were gonna die, that she can't protect them because Nell and Luke had that nightmare and they really got to her, so she's like, okay, if I keep everyone here, they'll be okay. But her thing was that, like, they need to wake up from this nightmare, and to her, waking up was to die. That's dark. So needless to say, we could see why her method didn't work. And even with the dad, he spent all these years protecting his kids with all those secrets. It drove him crazy, and it made the kids hate him because he wasn't telling them anything, which ultimately ended up with Nell losing her life. And Luke almost died too. So that method didn't work. The idea of not being able to completely protect your kids, speaking as a parent, is a pretty tough pill to swallow because you always want them to be safe, but sometimes you just gotta let them out there and hope for the best. The ending shows Hugh sacrificing himself to Olivia because she wanted them to stay in the house, but he's like, you know what? If you let them go out the red room, I will be here with you forever. So he stops taking his heart pills, and then he's dead. And as they're leaving the house, Hugh thanks Steve for not telling his siblings what he saw, which was his dad's dead body. Did the dad not learn that secrets are bad? What makes it a little ironic to me is that Steve was the one who was always against these secrets. He always wanted to know the truth, and now at the end, he's withholding some pretty fucking harsh truth from them. So, Steve, What a dick. Now, I hardly nerd out with the technical aspect of filmmaking and storytelling, but in the Two Storms episode, that shit was pretty awesome because they had like about, a handful of long takes that comprised the episode, which meant that there was some long tracking shots and like 360 shots with no edits and no cuts. I can't imagine how hard that was and how long they had to rehearse that for to get it to perfection. Oh man. I can't even do a 2-minute long shot. I'm always fucking up. That alone is Emmy material. You know damn well there's gonna be a season 2, so hopefully they go back and delve into the origin of the house and the Hill family because I want to see what happened. We only get little snippets of exposition, so I feel like there's plenty of potential story right there. Or maybe the Crane family, or what's left of them, still kind of get haunted by the house because there's still technically some more unfinished business because they're still alive and the house is still up, so it'll probably call them back and keep trying until they're all dead. There was also a lot of ghosts in that house, so what the hell is their story? Again, there is plenty of room for potential stories here for the next season. Hopefully though, again, I want to see what the hell happened to the Hill family. Willie Hill, Billy Hill, Bill Hill. I also loved how it could be debated that what you saw in the show could be considered mental or supernatural. And I'm sure that was the point of the novel, so this will definitely get people talking as it is an excellent show and absolutely worth watching. If you love character-driven stories, horror, and even some drama, then this is for you. And also, how many hidden ghosts were you guys able to see? Because I found none. I'm a shitty detective. So do you guys agree with me, and what are some of your theories? Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to this amazing channel. I am Detective Artemis, and there are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt in your philosophy.